connected.
Well, here we go. First time on the old road since... Well, actually, I think that was in 1999 when I was on the VFR. And Tiffany came to visit. Tiffany from sportbikegirl.com. And she and her boyfriend and I came up here for a ride just to show Tiffany what it was like. I'm still friends with Sean, but unfortunately, yeah, Tiffany died a couple of years later from melanoma. But yeah, Sean actually moved out to the US, stayed with me for a little while. Moved to Boston, went back to California, where I was, and is now in Petaluma, just a little ways north of San Francisco. Anyway, so that's the spot right there where that light is, where Fiona was recording some video, which I uploaded to YouTube actually. Anyway, yeah, this is the road that I used to come riding on every single day that I had spare, that I wasn't doing something. For the longest time, I would jump on my RGV right up here while I was doing shift work, so I'd be up here more often during the week than on weekends. On the weekends I met a bunch of guys, had a great time, ended up going to Ginger's Creek, which I couldn't even say where that is now, I forget. Down, somewhere near Tamworth if I remember correctly, but I probably don't. Yeah, that trip started out with like 6 or 7 guys. A couple of years later there was 20, 30 people all coming along. Just got too popular for its own good, but it was a lot of fun. So I did spend an awful lot of time on this road. I'm glad that I stopped coming up here regularly when I did, because there were so many crashes. It just was horrifying to see. People complain about the police presence up here, but I know why they are up here. I'd rather get a ticket than a ambulance ride. Then again, I'd rather go for a fun ride on the track than a fun ride here. Having done so much track riding, I come up here and all I can see is the risks. This tiny narrow little lane of space, the asphalt is so bumpy and broken and covered in dirt and sand and leaves and sticks. It's wet in places. You don't know what it's like around the corner. I came up here one time on a brand new motorcycle, came here straight from the dealership. And it was just up ahead a little ways. I wonder if I'll be able to spot it, but there was fertilizer dumped all over the road. Little spheres of rock hard white fertilizer. Just as effective as ball bearings for keeping a motorcycle upright. It was a miracle that I didn't, well, not that there's any such thing as a miracle, but it was a miracle I didn't crash. I went off the side of the road, through the dirt and the leaves to avoid it. So considering that as an alternative to riding on the track, I don't know why anyone would choose this. I mean, I'm here for the first time in 17 years. I do an average of 15 track days a year. And as a result, I have absolutely no desire to do this kind of riding. It was fun back when I was young, but oh my god. Just seems so dangerous now. But it's good for the old trip down memory lane. I mean, I've seen all kinds of crashes on this road, this stretch. I've seen cars hit bikes, I've seen bikes hit cars, I saw one guy hit a wombat days after he finished paying off his TZR 250. He's on his back just up ahead here because a wombat walked out onto the road just at the wrong time. I saw one guy go down, hit the asphalt, and then his front tire somehow managed to get some grip again and the bike popped back up. So he crashed, but he never actually touched the asphalt himself. He had rash all over the side of his fairing and his gloves were undamaged. He had a little scuff on his jeans and that was it. I saw one guy on a BMW K100, that shows how long ago that was, but he crashed and he was fine, but his passenger took a chunk out of his kneecap, and when we came across them, that had just happened, they were just hobbling off the road, and I told his passenger, hey, you better sit down, and he says, no, I'm okay, and I said, look at your knee, and he looked down, and instantly his face went from normal colour to just ashen. He couldn't even feel it, he said, but I could see the bone. It was just gruesome. And then another guy, so anxious to show off, so determined to keep up with the rest of us, just panicked coming into a corner, stomped on the rear brake when he realised he was pushing too hard, stomped on the rear brake, high-sided, crashed, dislocated his shoulder, lying on the ground groaning and moaning, and I could see that his shoulder was just completely out of whack. I mean, I could go on. Friends of mine really injured themselves, destroyed really expensive motorcycles. The smart ones gave up coming here and started racing instead. But yeah, we're not all as smart as we would like to be. Okay, this is where the BMW crashed with the kneecap issue, just around this corner. There's a right coming up around this corner. Yeah, so the BMW crash there, just right here, because it was shaded, just like this. I mean, it is a beautiful road. The temptation, of course, is to go faster and faster. But where's the fun in a crash? There's just too many variables. I'm a coward. Well, no, I wouldn't say I'm a coward. I'm saying I like to minimise risk. Which, of course, is why I do what I do for a job. So I'm hoping that someone else will come up behind me and I'll wave them by, because that'll be a sign that my ego can tolerate someone else going past, whereas when I was much younger, I couldn't tolerate that. These days, I'm looking forward to the challenge.